All right, so today I am at Toronto Motorsports Park for my first event in about 4 years. This is the paddock area, and this is Northern Speed Time Attack. I'm very rusty. I haven't driven in a long time, so I'm going to try and get out and take a track walk just to get a feel for how the track has changed. And if you've always just wanted to, but you've been too lazy, or you've never had the chance to walk around the entire track, I'll take you on a quick track walk like I typically would right now. So this is my track walk of Toronto Motorsports Park. I was able to get out before the event. This is the approach to turn 1, looking down the long straight. You can see one of the pit exits, a blend line, and they've painted these bright red brake markers, so it's easy for you to pick up your braking point for the turn 1. They've also paved this apron off to the side. This didn't used to be paved the last time I was here. I did used to bring my 350Z out a little bit onto this broken up asphalt because it was still kind of usable after braking was done. Now they've just gone ahead and paved this apron over here. I did find out driving the Civic that using this apron isn't really useful for braking. You might be able to use it a little bit for turn-in, but it just does not have the grip of the rubbered-in section for braking, so I wouldn't recommend that. If your braking's done and you want to move out a little bit to sort of increase your approach angle to the turn 1 apex, probably can be done. It'd be nice if this cone wasn't there. You can see the apex cone and the exits right over there, on down to the second straightaway. So here we are at turn 2, exiting off the straight. They've paved that little rut off to the side. I used to bring my car out here too onto this asphalt for the turn into turn 2. Last time I was here many years ago. If you want to test the brakes, turn 2 is a great place to do it because it's completely safe. You can be really aggressive, and if you are going to, brake too late, you can't hit anything. You're just going to go straight onto asphalt. This curb, I'm not sure if it's changed. It looks a lot smoother. My memory of the old curb, I'm not sure, but this definitely looks usable, so I would use the entire thing. You can see the turn 2 exit. In theory, you shouldn't have to use too much throttle between this turn 2 apex and that turn 2 exit, which is just up there. Here we are in turn 3. You can see the turn 2 exit also doubles as the turn 3 entrance. This is a late apex turn 3, and turn 3 is a corner that you kind of want to throw away. There's an exit cone way out there. You probably don't want to go all the way out there because it just increases the distance and the difficulty for you to get back to the entrance to turn 4, which is that cone up there. That entrance cone to turn 4 is more important than the exit cone of turn 3, so you probably want to exit about half width and make it all the way back over there. This is the turn 4. This cone is super important to get to. It straightens out this next little S-bend. You can see the chicane ahead. They've repaved that section. I'm not sure how much that helps, but it can't hurt. This is the turn 5 section of the S's. You can see my little arrow popping up. So yeah, you definitely want to hit that cone. It's a bit of a late turn in. Your exit will take you over a curb on the other end. It's a bit of a bump. You can see up there, that's an accurate representation of the line. You don't want to turn in too early on turn 5 or you'll scrub out too wide. Toronto Motorsports Park is mostly about late apexes anyways. So when in doubt, turn in late. You can see there's a little straightaway there. So this is the turn 6 entry. This little turnaround is useful to just maximize your turn-in radius by about a foot or two. I'm not exactly sure, I can't say this for sure, but every foot you come out here might increase your apex speed by about 1 kilometer. So if you can make it all the way out here and turn in at this cone, that's probably the ideal line. Some people do prefer to smooth apex this corner. I'm actually not sure which one's faster, and I've gone back and forth between the two. But that apex of a late apex is probably accurate. You can see the exit cone way out there. Probably a totally accurate representation of the line. So on the entrance, you can see they've repaved this rut. And it probably smooths it out a bit, probably helps in the braking zone. Once again, just a panning shot of turn 6. I'm hopping in my truck here to make my way down to the chicane, which I call turn 7. There's your apex cone, which is late, which straightens up the exit for you because this is a small straightaway. Toronto Motorsports Park is very small. None of these straightaways are very long. I don't have my data in front of me, but you know, this straight might be 200 meters, it might be 150 meters. It's not very long, but because none of the straights are long, you definitely still want to maximize them. So this is heading down to the chicane. All the seagulls are scattering. This is the chicane, so-called chicane, but it's really just a bent straightaway. You really don't need to navigate much of a chicane here. The braking point for cars, I found it's very different. That second hump up there is where I used to brake in the 350Z. But I found with the Civic, I had to brake at the first cone, even though the Civic is a lighter car. Just the Civic had no ABS. I had difficulty modulating the pedal. I wasn't used to how the car felt in the braking zone. The 350Z can just brake with impunity up here at the second hump. And it can get scrubbed off from about 140 down to 80 at the exit to the next left-hand corner with no problem. The Civic could not do that. At least me in the Civic, I couldn't do it. But the 350Z brakes about here. It doesn't look like it's a lot of distance when you're in the car, but you can tell when you're walking it that it's actually quite a big approach to this left-hand corner. You have a lot of room to scrub off a lot of speed. It's also a fairly safe corner to pick your braking points and be more and more aggressive. You really can't hit anything except for this guy has somehow gone off the track right. I don't even know how that's possible. But it is a very safe corner to test your braking. You're really not going to hit anything. So pick a progressively later and later braking point until you end up you can't make the corner. That apex corner on the left is accurate. You definitely want to get over there. And really, this is kind of like a trail brake corner for me. You should brake at that in the chicane where the latest you possibly can, then make your way over this. And if you did it right, you're going to barely stay on the track at that apex cone over there. The exit cone, pardon me. Walking backwards, you can see just how long this braking zone is from the chicane back to the corner entrance. It's actually long and straight. If you pick your braking point right, you can scrub off a lot of speed here. And like I said, it is car dependent. But once again, walking backwards, I was surprised. The 350Z can brake where that first cone is on that apex. You can totally ignore the first cone, but the Civic had to brake, that much earlier where that where the truck is parked just about. So it is brakes dependent, car dependent on a lot of things. So hopping back in the truck. So this left-hander is turn 8. It is apex over the curb. And if you're coming fast enough, it should be a battle to stay on the track there. So now this is turn 9. It's, I think, typically the slowest corner on the track. It's easy to understeer into if you brake too late. So if you're going to approach this corner, it's probably better to take the ideal line. And I found in the past, it's easy to brake too late for and induce understeer. So probably want to brake you want to pick your braking point for all corners, but on this one you definitely don't want to be too late because waste all your time getting your car turned around. So that's the slowest corner, turn 9. After that, down that exit, for a lot of cars, that's flat out all the way to the last corner. You probably want to go full width here. Gonna hop in my truck again out of laziness. So this section is flat out basically. It's a quick approach to turn 10. And that turn ahead, turn 10, is actually the fastest corner on the track. So I'm standing mid-track at the entrance to turn 10, also sometimes called noob corner. So turn 10 is the fastest corner on the track, and all of the experienced guys will be apexing where you see that cone. and they'll be going so fast that they'll have no choice but to exit wide, taking it all the way to the right, sort of where you see the white portion of wall is and then the red portion of wall. You know, they're going so fast, they're sort of heading toward that red portion of wall that is the exit, and is also the sort of the entrance of the last corner. It's one smooth arc down there, but the very slow people will be completely throwing away the right-hand side of the track. They'll be keeping left to sort of set up the last corner, which is slow. You can see on the map kind of marked where we are. So this is standing in the last corner. It kind of looks like two corners on the map, but it's really just one. I find you want to run out here probably. This curbing is useful probably for most cars. And when you turn in, you don't want to take the height of the curb on the right, but you want to probably run across the black and yellow section. That corner of the apex marked with the orange cone is probably correct. And that keeps you pointed down the track, so you're not going to touch the wall. And I find the fear of touching the wall for most beginners is unjustified as long as you have the correct line. If you don't turn in too early, and if you run over that black and yellow curb section, pointed down the track, you're not going to hit the wall. So once again, you can kind of see the line. They've gotten rid of the hay bales. So yeah, this yellow and black sort of rumble section is fine to use. And you're not going to hit those water things, which are new. At least they're new to me. So that's looking down the straight. It's about a 400-meter straight, about a quarter mile. So that's it for the Toronto Motorsports Park track walk. Hope it helped a little bit. See you next time.